Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very, very special video for you guys. I'm once again joined with my very good colleague Allicnac, and he has something, might I dare to say, revolutionary to share with you guys today. A new idea that not a lot of people are talking about, a new narrative that not a lot of people are sharing, and I'm excited for Allicnac to share it with you today. So Austin, tell us, what are we looking at today?
So thanks for having me on, as always. It's always a good time making videos with you. And you know, this isn't a new narrative by any means. What we're saying, I know you use the word revolutionary, but you know, this is something that people at one time were very bullish
at one
on,
time,
you know, back in 2017, 2015, right, in the earlier days of cryptocurrency. But what we're here to talk about today is the idea of privacy and the idea of security online with cryptocurrency, right? And we're seeing a lot of fundamental things go on in the world where privacy could be a concern, right? Same with like supply chain issues. All this stuff is kind of getting recognized, right? A really good digital cash, something fast and fearless, wink, wink, right? There's a lot of narratives that we're going to be looking for in the future, right? Not only in the world, but in cryptocurrency as well. And when I mean narratives, right, we can go back and look. NFTs, right? A year ago today, the Bored Ape Yacht Club wasn't a thing, right? NFTs is a narrative that just happened recently, right? People made millions of dollars off of it. You know, there's the DeFi narrative, right? When Ethereum really started to pick up and we saw competition in that space, right? So there's these different narratives that come along within cryptocurrency and really the rest of the world. And when those narratives hit, they really hit you like a train, right? And that's like the thing, like that's when people start feeling FOMO and we see prices going way up. And, you know, that's just kind of how it works, right? But what you want to do as a successful investor is you want to try to catch these waves early, right? It's like surfing. You don't like when you're surfing, right? I'm not a surfer, but when I watch people surf, they don't like catch the wave when it's already forming. They sit there and they have to wait for the perfect wave to catch, and they ride it out, right? And I do think there's an opportunity of something along those lines with privacy and cryptocurrency, right? Obviously, there is I guess a privacy sector in cryptocurrency, but really the main two assets that I'm going to be focusing on is Monero, XMR, and ZCash, which is ZEC. And both of these coins are pretty unique in their own perspectives. I'm more bullish on XMR just because it is the #1 privacy coin, and I do think that you know what they're setting out to do, what that project is capable of, is really, really cool, right? Obviously, if people don't know, XMR is a proof of work token. I believe it's proof of work that is completely unlinkable and untraceable, right? If you send money to somebody, you will not know where no one can go and view that and be like, oh, this person sent this person money, right? Or it's just completely anonymous, right? Like cash. When you go to a gas station and you pay in cash, there's no document saying like that this person paid this much at this time. It's like once you give that cash to somebody, your name's not attached to that cash anymore, right? And Monero is pretty much just that, right? It's digital cash. It's not as efficient as other digital cash solutions, but it serves that very crucial purpose of being completely anonymous and really being big on the privacy side of things. So that's just a little background on Monero. Obviously, I could go into Zcash too, but I don't want to give a huge lesson on this stuff. If you are curious at all about these projects and their fundamentals, I encourage you to go to coinmarketcap.com, go and click on their websites, read their white papers, all that good stuff. It's really, really helpful. I encourage people to read white papers. But yeah, I'm pretty much at the thesis right now, and I don't want to keep on rambling. I'd love to hear from you, Logan. You know, that I think that privacy is going to be a big narrative coming up soon here. Maybe it's not going to be in the next 6 months, next month. Maybe it might be a few years. But I do think that there will be a time in a certain condition, a market condition, where privacy coins will see exponential growth. And that brings us kind of over to the chart here. Monero is, very capable of growing. This is a Kraken chart, a 1-day chart. We can actually go to a 3-day chart to just view more data. But you can see, right, Monero has been around for a very, very long time. I actually don't know the inception point of Monero. I believe it's around 2013 time. We have data going back to around May of 2014. But you can see that in our first real bull market, right, for altcoins, at least in 2017, Monero ran like, what was it, Logan? Some ridiculous number.
Like 240,000%.
Yeah, just some unfathomable number. And we also did see a big run from, the bottom of the COVID lows to our recent top, right? It almost ran 2,000%. But, I think that if this narrative starts to stick, and the reason why we're talking about this, right, is because we were actually talking about privacy coins not too long ago, and then we saw a big, big pop out of these things here just recently, right? You can see on the smaller time frames, we saw a big jump. I believe this was like a 75% increase or 50%. Oh, not that big. From lows at least. Let's see. I don't want to be wrong with percentages here. Okay, so 36% on that big jump to the upside. But yeah, there was some pretty aggressive buying volume in Monero, and I do think, right, if we are capable of breaking this barrier, right, around 500 to $515, I think Monero could be set up for some exponential price movement to the upside. Also, we are facing this descending resistance right here, which is pretty clearly defined. And if we break that, I think this could be setting Monero up for a very, very aggressive run to the upside and just the privacy sector in general. So guys, that same idea of privacy, cybersecurity, being anonymous, right? As we move forward in this world, right, and our lives become increasingly more digital, these things are going to be more and more important, and they're going to be very, very necessary. So, though Monero isn't getting, it hasn't been the best performing asset, throughout cryptocurrency, or, really any privacy coins, I do think there is a possibility, a real possibility of these things outperforming most of the asset class. So I know that was a little bit of a ramble there, kind of losing track.
No, I'm sure we all loved it. I loved it. Also, yeah. Inform us. What's the current market cap of Monero?
I believe it's like $3 billion. It doesn't say on TradingView. Hold on, let me just go over to. Yeah, 3.1 billion. Yeah.
So what do you think is realistic to see this at in terms of market cap?
Well, that's a very tough question, right? Obviously, we can look from a fundamental point of view, and we know what things are capable of doing. Like, right, we saw Solana, we saw Luna, we saw all these things run from like this $3 billion range up to like, right, what is Luna right now, right? Luna just broke into the top 5 cryptocurrency. Terra's at 35 billion. So like, what I mean? We could see a 10x out of Monero. It's very, very possible. When we overlay some Fibonacci extensions, some macro ones at that, we get levels well over $1,000. So, and if Monero did find a bottom, right, where could we look for a wave 3 target, right? Like that level between, $1,000 and 1,200 is looking extremely juicy. And I think that's very, very, very possible for Monero to reach, especially if this narrative wants to stick, right? That's the key, to stick. So, if we do end up seeing a nice breakout out of this, descending resistance, maybe come down for a bump and run, we eventually, right, maybe we have some bumps on the road, but we eventually make it back up to this level. If we can break over that, it's going to be pretty darn good for the Monero holders, right? I think that would set us up for a nice run up to, this level up here. But hey, you never know. If the privacy narrative doesn't stick, right, and if we don't see these big moves, then Monero could, just move sideways and be in an accumulation phase for a while. But I do think that there will be a point in time where, these things do some numbers. So yeah, relatively small market cap. Not the smallest, right? It's not terribly small. $3 billion is still considerable.
For sure.
But still some room for growth, for sure.
Yeah, and we have seen it do numbers in the past. I remember I've been aware of Monero for quite a couple of years actually now. I know you have been as well. So I definitely could see this narrative being picked up in the near future, or in a couple of years, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit of a little glimpse into the future maybe the other day. We saw a big jump, so someone was buying, right? Those candles didn't print for no reason. So.
Absolutely, and it does look like a very clear ABC correction followed by a wave 1 and wave 2 to me.
Yeah, like right here. And if you guys don't know what he's talking about, right, obviously we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, 5-wave impulse followed by a pretty clear corrective wave right here, A, B, C, right? And typically after a corrective wave, in a bull market, quote unquote, you're typically met with another impulsive wave. And if this is, right, Logan, would you say this is wave 1?
That is what, yes, that's what I'm thinking right now.
So, if that's true, guys, if you guys don't know Elliott wave principle, the third wave is typically, not always, but typically the most impulsive of the waves out of, waves 1, 3, and 5. So could be setting itself up for a massive run. Might not happen anytime soon, but it's there is some data there that could suggest that. So keep it on the radar, guys. If you're at all looking at privacy coins, right, do your own research. Make sure you understand the projects that you're looking at. I hope I said everything about Monero earlier, but yeah, I hope I said everything properly. I'm not a Monero expert, but I do know a little bit about it. So,
absolutely.
Hey, yeah.
Well, I loved this. I think that this is a great opportunity. I know I'm going to be looking to allocate a little bit of my portfolio towards security, maybe not XMR in general, but something in the security space, privacy space.
That not only goes along with cryptocurrency, but also in the equities market, whatever there is that represents cybersecurity, I'm sure they will have their time to shine as well. I think that whole narrative will really be like a market-wide thing. So
absolutely,
just like how we're seeing metals and commodities do well right now, right?
Right.
It's like the narratives are happening, and then people flock, and they flock into a certain asset or equity or whatever, and they buy it, right? And that's
like a surfer waiting for their wave.
Right, that's how you're going to be able to capitalize on the move. But if you're not there for the wave in time, you're going to end up chasing, FOMOing, and you're going to be the guys that are providing exit liquidity for the guys who did catch the wave, right?
Right.
So,
awesome. Well, everybody here got the news early, so hopefully they'll be able to catch the wave. Austin.
Hopefully they do. All right.
Thank you for coming on again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.